welcome to DIY Crafts. Today is our final week of screen printing, and this week we are moving it up a notch and we are doing a totally different approach, something that's going to last longer. So if you were with us the last 2 weeks, last week we did screen printing with plastic wrap, and we found out that it only lasts really one wash, if that. It's more one of those temporary things that you do for like a gag gift or a party or something fun like that. The week before, we did screen printing with acetone, and that actually works out really well and it lasts many washes. So this week, we are doing something that's going to last even longer, gives us more of that professional screen printing look. If we wanted to do this at home, if we wanted to gift it to friends, if we wanted to really express our creative side and let it kind of do that whole test of time. So things you'll need are some pantyhose, a t-shirt of your choice, scissors, Mod Podge, dishwasher safe Mod Podge if you plan on reusing your screen, and I will show you what I mean by that. Some type of fabric ink or fabric paint. In this case, I'm using the Speedball ink, neon green, because why not? And you will need a embroidery hoop. So what you are going to want to do first and foremost is separate your embroidery hoop like this. You are going to want to then take your pantyhose. I've already cut mine, but you don't have to cut them right away. You can actually put it over your embroidery hoop and then cut off the excess afterwards, which is probably the smarter idea. So you're going to want to put your pantyhose in your embroidery hoop. Go ahead and reassemble the hoop and make it really, really, really tight. As tight as you can possibly make it. What's going to happen is you don't want your pantyhose to fall out of the spot. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten it up as much as I possibly can. If you want to get crazy and wild, you can get an adjustable wrench or something along the lines of that so you can tighten this up. Then you're going to take your scissors, hopefully they're sharper than mine, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to cut off the excess. So you only have one layer. So right now I have a layer on this side and a layer on the side. I only want one layer. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off just this layer. And if you do this right and your embroidery hoop is tight, what will happen is you'll remove this layer and this layer will stay exactly where it is. Alrighty. So this is trash, you don't need it. All the excess is trash, you don't need it. So what you end up having is you just created your first free screen for screen printing. Alright? The next thing you're gonna need is an image. And for the life of me, I've lost my image. But I have it here. So basically, you have an image, and you're going to trace that image onto your screen. So you're going to put your screen print over your image. You're going to take a marker and go ahead and create your design. So you can do this a couple of ways. You can get super crafty and break out your computer and do some Inkscape, some GIMP, some Photoshop, some Illustrator, and create a super awesome image. Or you can grab some stencils and create your own. Or you can go wild, you can go crazy, and you can just freehand anything you want. So in this case, I have two. One that I created with a stencil, and then one that I just totally did freehand. So what you're going to want to do from here, after you trace your, oh, hey, that's cool. Okay, I broke it. after you trace your image on here, you're going to want to take the glue, and basically you're going to put the glue everywhere you don't want the ink to show. So for this one, I would put the glue all around here in all the white space, and I'm going to leave the black space as is. So I'm not going to cover the black space with glue because I want every part of that black to be where the ink shows up on my t-shirt. So to save time, because otherwise you'd have to watch glue dry, and that's like watching paint dry. It takes forever and it's boring and you'd have to look at me for that long. I've gone ahead and traced an image onto my screen, which is of a dog. And I don't know, is that the right way for you guys, or is that the right way for you guys? Anyway, gone ahead and drawn a picture of a dog in Rhode Island, because that's where I'm from. And I've put glue everywhere I don't want the ink to show up. So I put it in between the A, in between all the letters, in between here, in between the collar, and a little bit on the outside here, so I have a little bit of extra space and some wiggle room. So ideally, the way this should work is when I screen print it, the only thing that's going to show up is everywhere that doesn't have glue. You are going to have to do more than one coat. So do a coat of glue, let it dry, do another coat of glue, hold it up to the light, and when you hold it up to the light, you'll be able to see where the glue hasn't completely sealed. And again, if you do this right, and you do it with dishwasher safe Mod Podge, you'll be able to rinse the paint or the ink that you're using off in the sink, and you'll be able to use the screen over and over and over again. So if you need to make 50 shirts, this is your way to do it, and you can do it again and again and again every time you rinse it. All right, so we're going to take our screen, we're going to take a backboard, just a piece of cardboard, a paper bag, something, and you're just going to slip that in between your shirt. So you want it inside of the shirt, because what ends up happening, if you don't put that there, it's going to bleed through, and you're going to have your image here, and you're going to have your image on the back of the shirt. And when you turn it inside out, it's going to do the same thing. We don't want that. We just want the image on one side of the shirt. By all means, if you want it on both sides, go for it. Don't use the backboard. So I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to place my image nice and straight down on my t-shirt like this. And then you're going to want a card. Credit card, a scraper of some sort. If you are a painter and you have one of those paint scrapers, go for it. If not, an old, in this case, an old license, or an old gift card, or old credit card that you don't need, perfect for this. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab some of my green paint, just enough, and I'm just going to go from the top here and scrape down, applying a decent amount of pressure. And same thing, I'm going to scrape down, applying a decent amount of pressure. And you're going to do that all across the image until you have it completely scraped with paint. And then you can take your excess paint and put it back in. General, good amount of pressure. And you're going to put it down. And ideally, if you did it right, when you peel this off ever so gently, like this, you're gonna get a pretty cool image. Alright, so the paint went everywhere the paint went everywhere the glue was not. So I get the outline of the dog, I get the outline of the letters, and the more you practice, the better you're gonna get at this. This one, I think in reality, I probably should have done letters that were a little bit further apart, so it would have made the glue a little bit easier to do. But all in all, I got my dog, I have my Rhode Island, and now I'm ready to go about. If I want to get super jazzy, I can go ahead and take a fabric marker and touch this up and make it really pretty. But if you're doing multiple ones of these, probably not the best idea because you're going to be here forever. But if you're just doing one, go ahead and print it, and then get a fabric marker and add in some extra details. So you can do this with any stencil you have. You can do this by just a printed image you get off the internet and then you trace it onto your nylons. And then as long as you glue up everything you don't want the ink to shine through, you can reuse this over and over and over again. So I'm just going to go ahead and rinse this off, and then I'll be able to make another shirt. And I actually, this is the second one I made. Let me show you the first one. So this is how the first one came out. And when I did it on the first one, I did it on a scrap piece of fabric. And then I realized that I missed quite a few places with the glue. So I went back, I touched up the glue, and then this one came out pretty good, if I do say so myself. So for this, you can do this on any fabric that you have. You can do it on a pillowcase, you can do it on t-shirt, towels. You can even do it on like a piece of wood or a picture frame if you want a really perfect stencil or something like that. This is definitely the way to go. It's reusable. Use it as many times as you want. When you're done with it, throw it away, get a new nylon, start all over again. Super easy, super cheap. If you don't want to do it this way, Speedball, that makes this ink, also makes the actual screen print kit, but then you need to either buy an emulsion mix to make the emulsion, which is essentially just glue, or you need to have some kind of vinyl cutter so you can put vinyl on it and reuse it over and over again. But for sure, if you want the cheap way to do it, this is super fun, super easy. The glue part does require a little bit of patience because you have to wait for it to dry, and glue does not go onto nylon very easily. But if it's nice out, sit outside, which is what I did, put it up to the sun, see where all the holes are, and ta-da, you have an awesome t-shirt that'll last you forever. It's screen printing ink. It really will hold up for many, many washes. It's not going anywhere. Very permanent. Alright, so that's it. We are done with screen printing. Unless you say in the comments, Jess, can you do one more? One more, and I'll show you guys how to do it with the official screen printing board and the vinyl and the works. I don't do the emulsion thing, it's not my thing. But if you want to see that, I can do that. If not, we're going to move on to bigger and better things. So next week, you are going to need one of three things. You're either going to need some craft sticks that are giant, some craft sticks that are regular sized, or some pallet wood and strips of pallet wood. So for me, I'm going to be showing you the small version using craft sticks. I'm not going to tell you what we're doing. You're just going to have to be surprised. So next week, grab some craft sticks, grab some paint, and I will see you here, and I'll show you how to make some really cool fall, winter decorations. All right? Until next week, I'll see you guys then. I hope you enjoyed the craft, and I hope that if you do this at home, you show me how it turned out. All right? See you then.